it's all because I'm Filipino and I support Filipino content. So yeah, so I danced in the film. I don't know if they yeah, they showed it probably. So yeah.
And what was the production process like for you? And what was the feeling like, being surrounded by other Filipino performers or telling the story and narratives of the migrant workers here in Hong Kong?
I was very proud. I was very proud, and it was collaboration. I think that's why I supported the film. It's more of like I've never had an experience of someone asking me, like a filmmaker, to create a content about migrant workers, which is like the and so to me it was a big opportunity to be visible and to help the community. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe we could invite some questions. Do you have any questions for Andrew and or Stefanos? Just raise your hand. We can pass them the mic to you. Yes. Tell us your name.
My name's Rand.
Ren.
This question's for Stephanos. Will you tell us what H stands for?
That's such a okay.
Or will you keep it a secret?
It's funny. Andrew and I were just talking about this. I can tell you, sure. Yeah, but I think so. What Andrew and I were just talking about is it's a lot of people ask this question and it's quite. It's an enigma in a way because I don't really know actually how H. It doesn't really stand for anything, but it just sort of persisted. Andrew, maybe after you can also talk about how you were thinking about H, but I think the simplest answer is probably that when we were writing way back in the beginning, before we even thought of character names, we're writing a story about a helper, and I just had written H, and then maybe the boss was B, and the kids were K, K1, K2, and obviously as the story becomes more fleshed out, you assign names to everyone. But I thought it was interesting the way H just wasn't getting named, and if you look closely, there are a few scenes where you see H's full name typed out. But I thought it was an interesting statement about how identity doesn't matter often to people who employ domestic workers. They just see them as their helper, or they just see them as someone who cooks and cleans and takes the kids to school. They don't care who they really are. And I wanted to take that and twist it almost as a statement, but also as a bit of a protest against the way that these women are stripped of their identities. But Andrew maybe has a better answer about this.
Yes, Andrew.
No, because Stephanos approached me to do the film, and I was like, also baffled. Why? I asked him, why did you name the character H? Because there's no Filipino name. It's like in my own recollection, H doesn't appear in a Filipino name. But before the film, I'm crazy. Okay, I'm a dancer, I'm a singer, I'm a choreographer. So I've been like writing the letter H, honestly. And then I was like, okay, H is like a bridge or something. And then that's why I asked Stephanos, why did you write H? It's like, it's uncommon to name someone of a Filipino origin of a H name. So it's kind of like I've talked to Stephanos. It's like, okay, maybe we're all interconnected or something. But for me, as me doing the film, I didn't know that he was writing such a film like that. And me, as a Filipino artist in Hong Kong, of that origin, all I can do is to support, and that's all been honest to him. So yeah, it's funny how everything interconnects. Yeah.
Andrew, there's a line in the film that resonated with me, and I guess it also connects with the title. And H said that sometimes people dance to disappear, but we don't dance for
Hmm.
nothing. So, what does that line mean to you?
In the morning.
Oh,
So
five.
good morning.
5 in the morning. Sorry to wake you up so early, but thank you so
No
much.
worries.
And
No, and thanks
congratulations.
to everyone for coming. Thank you so much. I'm
Um, can,
excited to see everyone.
can we give them a big round of applause? Congratulations, Stefanos and Andrew. Hi, Andrew. Where are you calling us from?
I'm in the Philippines now.
Mabuhay.
Mabuhay.
It's been some time. We've actually worked together before in our
Yes.
choir. Yes. So nice to see you
Yes.
again.
Nice to see you.
And congratulations also, for being part of this
Thank you.
brilliant film. Stefanos, can you please tell us some more about the film? I mean, what made you create this beautiful film and also your approach of doing a
Pala
photo
yung director.
montage?
Sure. Yeah, so obviously, first off, thanks again, everyone, for coming and watching the film. It's been a long journey for us. Why did we make the film? It's always a tough question. I think I can say that I'm obviously not from Hong Kong, but when I moved to Hong Kong 4 or 5 years ago, I very quickly became inspired by the women on screen, the domestic workers of Hong Kong. I thought that they were beautiful and talented and full of joy and full of grace, and it seemed like the world had not seen that and recognized that properly. Everything I was reading was always about their struggles and always portraying them in a very one-dimensional way. That it's important to talk about their struggles because their struggles are numerous and very real. But I always wanted to show the world the energy that I felt on those Sundays. And so we made this film as a way to celebrate that community, but also sort of peel back the top layer of media narrative on these women and show what they're really dealing with and what their real stories are. Um, and why photo montage is an interesting question as well. There's many reasons. We wanted to take risks. We wanted to try something different, but also we wanted to find a visual way to speak to their condition and the things that we had heard. We're always hearing about how their lives to me seem so um, sort of black and white, sort of binary. You spend 6 days working in the home, often without much freedom, and then those tiny Hong Kong flats. And then on Sunday, you go out and you release all your stress and you dance wildly in the streets. I thought that was beautiful, and we wanted to find a sort of relationship between photographs and moving images that could make perhaps the audience just for a moment feel that same sense of release that our characters might. So it was a crazy experiment, and we're happy with it. But it was very exciting, but also very difficult to figure out this whole new vocabulary on our own.
We're very happy with, more than happy with the results, right? We could all say yes to that.
Yes.
So, but how long was the research process for you? I mean, like, if for those who are reading the program, they describe your approach to your work as having a very immensely anthropological approach. So, how long was your research process, and what was it like? Have you joined different groups of helpers, migrant workers here in Hong Kong for some time?
Yeah, so I would say before we knew we were making a film, I knew that there was something special about this community. Also, they were very welcoming to me. They offered me food and they invited me to dance and we talked and we took pictures, and they shared a lot. They told me about their families and the struggles they were facing. at the same time, to be very honest, I was feeling like Hong Kong was a bit too corporate for me. It felt like Central is this strange place full of just corporations, and it's a very cold sort of business feel to it, and yet you have these women dressed in bright colors dancing on Sundays, and so it was obvious why I wanted to be a guest in that community, but
rights, human rights, all of it that has rights.
Yes.
That we need to fight for.
Yes.
Many government policies limit our rights as workers and put us in vulnerable conditions. Policies like the 2-week rule, like if we are terminated, we have to find a new job, and in 2 weeks we have to go back home. It just kind of, the Hong Kong government just kind of eased that policy during the COVID crisis, but they reverted that policy, so it's up again. We also have, the Hong Kong government also has the mandatory live-in conditions, meaning we live with our employers, and it's mandatory. And the exclusions of domestic workers from the statutory minimum wage and regulation of working hours. We work